Oh wow.
So,
I
happy birthday.
mean, I mean, I've just watched the whole fucking Dharma thing on Netflix. And I don't know,
Actually,
looking at you now.
actually, do you know what? With the long hair, if I did get a pair of sunglasses, I probably would look a bit like Dharma.
I mean, you could be
And
like a
then I would eat
lost.
you.
You could be like a lost long descendant or something. Is that a morning coffee?
This is an afternoon coffee.
Afternoon coffee. Yeah, that's right. I just woke up. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm good, buddy. How was your birthday?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. How did we celebrate? What did we do?
I went to like an arcade, child's park thing. It's not like a. Shut the fuck up.
You're usually there, aren't you?
Hey, we all have our hobbies, okay? My friend owns this thing called Livewire, him and his brothers. It's like an arcade, but like a super park. It's got like trampolines, inflatable things. Nice. Yeah. So I went there with some friends. Yeah, we had fun. It was good.
Have you noticed? I remember when I was young, I actually did have a trampoline, and I felt like I could do it for hours. But then I went to a trampoline park like a couple of years ago, and it's the most tiring thing in the fucking world. We
were destroyed. Like at one stage, like we all looked like we just played 80 minutes of rugby.
Yeah.
Like your back, your knees, your body. But yeah, had a lot of fun.
Good stuff. Congratulations. How old are you now?
I'm 29.
You're younger than me.
How old did you think I was?
I thought you were about my age, to be honest, like 31 46? Or something.
Oh, 30.
Fuck you. The hairline's 46.
You know what's
the hairline?
You know what fucking sucks? My hairline. Fuck it. Let's get intimate with our audience here and tell our secrets.
Yeah.
Can you see? Can you see? So it goes here.
Yeah.
Goes here and then oh my god, even looking at it now, it's fucking up my whole day.
Bro, I look like Vegeta. Like with the fucking
the last same prince. But yeah.
When you do that and you look like down in that direction, you know who you look like?
Who?
You look like Krang out of the Ninja Mutant Hero Turtles.
Krang. Let me do a quick little Google. Krang. What's it? Ninja Turtles? Okay, Krang Ninja Turtles. I see it here.
Yeah, he lived in the stomach of a big robot.
He's white.
No, he's pink.
He's white.
No, I'm talking about that pink thing in the middle.
Fuck you. This fucking.
Yeah, you just look like that when you look.
You're a piece of shit, you know. Welcome back. Week 6. Is it week 6?
I don't know.
I think it is. We've been going for a bit. One thing I do want to say is I want to give a little thank you shout out to our listeners, our watchers, our audience who tune in every week to listen to us talk about bullshit. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the comments, feeding the algorithm. Just thank you for tuning in.
I mean, look at you. You've had a birthday and now you're getting all reflective.
Am I?
Not really. But while we're making statements, I would like to apologize for comments I made last week where I said my parents didn't care if I lived or died. They watched that and they
So Oscar doesn't talk to his parents. He just like sends them messages on the podcast and then they reply in the comments and then that's how they communicate. Hey, mom and dad, I'm sorry for his lack of communication. How often do you call your parents?
Often, honestly, quite often. I actually speak to my parents very often, which you would think would make them realize I was joking, but apparently not. They took it quite serious. My mum was a bit offended that I said that.
Poor mama. Are you a mummy's boy?
I suppose it would be, yeah. Well, apparently not if I'm telling you that she didn't care if I lived or died, but yeah, they'll be all right.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, Contender Series.
Yes.
Another 5 contract week.
Yep. Love those.
What did you think? I watched it.
I think that I actually really like the Contender Series and I really like the format. I love that it's just like bang, 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 quick pacing. So it's a very enjoyable watch. But I would argue that if you wanted to really like make it exciting, I would make the contracts much harder to attain, and therefore the stakes feel much higher. And I think at the beginning, they were harder to attain. And I think Dana's kind of mellowed a bit with age. And I think Dana gets a right buzz off of making someone's dreams come true and stuff like that.
In the earlier seasons, on average, how many contracts do you think were given out every week?
Two an episode, maybe 2 or 3 an episode, maybe.
But like, I mean, go on.
Last season, he was handing like some losers contracts as well. He hasn't done that this season. But I'd like to see them a little bit harder to attain, like, because if you're going to say that the show's a platform for fighters, which it obviously is, like Bo Nickal and the 17-year-old and stuff like that, they're going to Joe Pyfer, they're going to come into the UFC with a bigger name than loads of newcomers. So it's obviously a good platform. But if it's a good platform, just have them fight on there again. Like if they're kind of nearly in, just make them fight again.
I guess you could make the season longer, since you do have, like, you know, the venue, everything like in the house, you know what I mean? And on Tuesday, so it's not like it's clashing against anything programming wise. Having a look at the success of Contender Series contract minutes in the UFC, and apparently they have not been performing so well.
Well, if you keep handing them out to everybody, eventually your average is going to go down, right? But I would say that that's probably fair, right? But there are certain people that I remember off the Contender that are like Sean O'Malley, Contender, good career. Like Adrian Yanez, I think he's awesome. I think Bo Nickal is going to be something pretty special. You know, there are guys that come off the Contender Series that you're like, damn. And I think for the most part, like, if you say, for example, on Saturday, there's a bunch of prelims with some guys that I may not be that familiar with. For some reason, I don't get invested in those fights, but the matchmaking is so good on Contender Series, and the concept is so simple, like finish this guy, get a contract, that it's much easier to get invested in two dudes I don't know. So I enjoy the Contender Series, but I would like to see them maybe just slow their roll on the old contracts a little bit. If you would in the UFC, would you go on Contender or the Ultimate Fighter?
I guess it depends. I was going to say it depends on, you know, where you are in your career when it comes to, you know, that period of where you're close to getting into a major promotion, or how far. Contender seems to be the easier route. Ultimate Fighter is what, like 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and you fight 3 times. If you win, it's a lot more difficult.
And I think less people, to be honest.
Yeah, talking about Bo Nickal though, he really he impressed me. He impressed me the first time I saw him, but this time, like, just watching the fight, you could see what he was doing from the jump. I forget his opponent's name, apologies, but Bo came out, kept his distance. He didn't just do the whole, you know, fake jab, duck under, let me just start using my wrestling. You could tell how confident he is in his skills and in his.
So did you just say fake jab, immediately start using my wrist? Is that another shot of hands up because you hate him so much?
No, but it's but it's something that you see a lot of wrestlers do. Immediately try and get the fight to the ground. But Bo is so confident in his skills and how well-rounded he thinks he is that he is happy to just stand there and take his time and let the fight play out and find openings where he does. And you can see, you know, he came out, kept his distance. He was feinting, like, you know, doing a lot of crazy shot
like he actually feinting. Yeah.
And you could tell that the guy knows he's a high-level wrestler. He was just waiting for the shot, waiting. He was trying to time his reaction to Bo's shot, but he was just falling into Bo's game. You know, Bo was there. Up and down, up and down. The guy's just trying to, you know, get in front of it, and then the beautiful overhand left as he was ducking under. Even the way he threw the left hand, his head and his face were even down, like he was going for the shot, and completely sold the shot, clips the guy, rocks him, and wow, to get on mount and to go into the triangle.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That was,
it was awesome. And I like it. It was cool. Like, and they're obviously not going to make that fight next, but then he called out Hamzat right after, which I think is like, okay, they're not going to make that fight, but that's perfect. That's the name you want to get. I like that collectively as a sport, we all then ignored him calling out Logan Paul, and we're just like, no, none of that, and just carried on with our day.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, he's a really exciting prospect. I hope that they like just get him like fighting, you know, like have him do like 3 fights in the next 7 months if they can, you know. He seems like a guy who won't take much damage, and let's just try and get him up there.
Do you know much about his background? Because part of what was interesting, I found, was as an American wrestler, for him to transition like that and go for a submission, like, you know, which is more of sort of like a Sambo Dagestani, but, you know, for him to not just stay in mount and do ground and pound, and to, like, it was just.
Well, I think he's been training for mixed martial arts for like 2 years.
So who does he train with? Where?
Masvidal. They brought him to train with Masvidal. Yeah, they brought him in there to help with the Colby fight, I think. I remember that being part of it.
Yeah.
And he made his debut for Jorge's promotion. So he's down at ATT, which is a great gym.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, like, obviously, I don't know if you and I would know that much about American wrestling, being that we're filthy foreigners. But from what I understand, he's like one of the best ever.
Yeah.
Or at least alive today. So
he's been training MMA for 2 years.
I will say that. And now I'm like, I wonder if that is true, but I'm pretty sure that's about right.
Because that's a lot of like progression and experience for someone to have, like, you know, only two years in. But if it is 2 years, it's very impressive.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like, if your base skill, and especially in MMA, wrestling is probably like one of the best base. If your base skill is that good that you can basically put it on a shelf for 2 years and not touch it and just focus on everything else, you kind of got like a room for growth for a lot. But he's exciting, man. Like he seems fucking quick as shit too. So it's cool addition.
What's his walk around weight at? Do you know?
He doesn't look that heavy, does he? Really? Yeah. For 185, he looks like it's 10 pounds heavier, maybe. I mean, he doesn't look drained or anything. It's cool, man. I like it when you get a new prospect like that coming in, because, you know, it's like the sport is cyclical, right? Like we were talking before about who's retired this year. Like you're losing people like Rockhold and Cerrone and people like that. So you sort of think like, oh, that's sad. But then you see these new guys coming, you're like, oh, fuck, man. And they're getting better and better from the off, you know. It's cool. I like seeing, let's see what they do with them. But there are probably people they could match him up with in the top echelon of that division and do well against, you know, already. But
I'd like to see a little bit more of him, though. I want to see more. Like I'm super confident. Like, you know what I mean. Even just in the little that he's shown, you know that his ceiling is going to be super high.
Yeah, but it's like if you fuck it up, like, it's like Aaron it's Aaron Pico, right? Like he was like the unbelievable prospect, and then maybe got matchmake a little bit too strong too early, got knocked out, and it's so hard to get your reputation and your hype back to where it is. So I guess if you're the promoter, it's like, well, we can put him in there against like Cannonier or Sean Strickland right now and see what happens, but why bother? Why risk eliminating him when we can still build? So yeah, it'll be cool. I just want them to just make him active though. Like when they had Hamza at the off and he like fought 4 times in 4 months, like there needs to be more of that in MMA. I hate the fact that like these guys, like Izzy fights up very often, but other than that, you know, these guys fight once or twice a year and it's like, oh, fuck.
That's the thing too. You have to stay active to, 1, fight the recency bias, and 2, to make more money, run through your contracts. Yes, like, you know, I'm all for fighter pay. It's just the nature of the sport. Someone that's playing basketball or, you know, soccer is playing how many games a year at the base? 83 or something on basketball. Football, even higher, sometimes 3 times a week if you're trying to go for, you know, Champions League or something. And when you do find yourself in a position like Bo Nickal, you know, you're healthy, you're on the come up, you're being promoted, you're just turning it over. Don't want to see,
and you're not getting touched, you know, it's a bit weird that we're comparing him to Hamza. Maybe it's just because they're so soon after the other. Yeah. But like Hamza got hit like this 4 times in his first fights. But if you're not getting hit, you can fucking fight, you know, like, and you may as well rack him up.
I was more comparing him to Paddy. Like, you know, you've come in, you've got your hype, you know, you're not taking damage. Just keep it up. Turn it over. Like, you know, every 8 weeks you should be fighting.
Actually, who Paddy's going to fight in December? That's it. I wonder who he is.
Is Paddy going to even make weight by December?
I think he's got like another year or 2 of being able to do that. because he doesn't seem to struggle with it, to be honest. It's not like he's dying on the scales. I think Paddy just holds it like head and he looks fatter than he is. You know?
But he's obviously not in the gym, like sharpening his skills and upgrading his software. Know what I mean?
Yeah. But he's also I sound like I'm defending him, not necessarily, but he's also been fighting for a very long, like since he was 13.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like, you know, once you hit the UFC is when you step it up a notch. You don't like, you know, go backwards and be like, well, was he doing
David,
this?
Some of us fighters are just about it. You know what I mean? It's just like...
I'm not attacking him or defending him or anything, but like, you know, there's just like a few things. If you come into lightweight, you're already at a disadvantage. The most stacked division, the most competitive, the most everything. You know what I mean? It's the most populated division in the whole UFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to talk about being champion and all that, like, you need to show a little bit of that killer instinct. You need to show a little bit of that savagery-ness.
Yeah, but it's also like, you know, putting on the weight and getting real bloated outside of fights and stuff like that. Like that is an amusing character quirk until you lose. And then the moment you lose, that is like the biggest flaw. You were never going to do anything. And like the amount, like if Paddy loses or misses weight, like if Paddy ever misses weight, he will become like one of the most fucking shit on guys in the sport, like guaranteed. And maybe justifiably so, right? If you're going to get fat and talk about getting fat and you miss weight, then it's what it is. But like those things are kind of like quirky little stories about a character until they become like an issue, and then everyone just goes fucking insane on. Yeah, bringing it around full circle though, it's like funny. He said he'll be champion in 5 years, whereas Bo Nickal said he'll be champion by like 2025. You know, and that's the difference in like who's trying to achieve what. You know, you know, like listen as well. Like it's. I don't know what Paddy's ambitions are. Paddy has said that he doesn't love fighting. He enjoys like getting paid for it. So maybe Paddy doesn't give a fuck about becoming champion. Maybe Paddy's just happy to make money. Well, Kevin Holland apparently does give a fuck because he retired, I guess, which is kind of wild, or retired for now at least. But yeah,
how true is all of that? Do you reckon?
I believe Kevin Holland means it when he says it. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he'll still mean it in like 6 months. I don't know if he'll still feel that way, but I bet he was fucking pretty not happy about that Hamzat fight. You know, I bet that was like Dana White said last night at the post-fight press conference. He said that. If you like have the Brunson fight, which was not great for Kevin, train wrestling really, really hard and then get steamrolled in like 2 minutes by wrestling, you might be like, what's the fucking point then? Like, I'm never going to achieve stuff with these guys around. So I could see why that would exasperate you, but I think Kevin would be silly to retire. There's loads of fights that would be great.
I guess I think maybe he just needs to take a step back and take a break and have a look at the bigger picture. Like, he did fight one of the biggest wrestlers in the middleweight division, the division above, which is like, you know, which is a feat in itself.
Well, like there are loads of fights for him. Like,
yeah, definitely, he's a fun guy.
Let's say Sean Strickland loses to Cannonier. Kevin Holland versus Sean Strickland is a great fight.
Yeah,
boom, do that tomorrow. You know, there's loads of fights. It would be bad for him to walk away, really. But
yeah, so Conor has been training.
Yeah,
we can say that. Who do we think he comes back to fight next?
I'm not sure because it depends exactly what timeline he's on, right? It depends how long the movie goes. You never know if the movie's going to need like reshoots for some reason or something like that. Like that could be, you know, a little bit longer than scheduled or whatever. And then I think it probably depends on who's doing what. Like if, you know, people like sort of think this is like out of the realm of possibility, but like, let's say he is filming until the first bit of next year. And then they book Kamaru versus Leon for March.
Yep.
So, well, he could easily fight the winner of that, you know, easily.
But it's like, what does Conor want? Yes, there is a chance Conor could just walk into a title shot.
Fuck yeah, there is. I'd say if Charles beats Islam, like 100%, that fight could happen.
Does he just come and have, you know, big money, big fun fights at 170 against, you know, Jorge or like you know, someone in that category?
I think he probably would. I think he always wanted to go for that third title at welterweight, to be honest. He told me when I did that pub talk with him that he wanted to fight Kamaru and that he didn't see what everyone else saw about Kamaru.
He's got a better shot at skipping the line at lightweight than welterweight, doesn't he?
Mate, he'll fucking skip the line wherever he wants.
That's true, yeah.
To be honest. Like,
I guess it doesn't even make any sense talking about it because he's just going to.
I think his last pay-per-view against Dustin, I think did like 1.7 million pay-per-view buys or something like that. 1.6, 1.7.
Jesus Christ.
Canelo versus Triple G just did like 800,000. And that's like the biggest fight they had in boxing, except for maybe Fury Joshua. So that's the level. He's like doing double that. He can do like what he wants essentially. And because even if, and this is not how I imagine the case to be, but even if the UFC were like, oh, well, you know, we're not sure, I guarantee ESPN would be like, fuck you, give him a title shot. You know? So,
this is true. Yeah. ESPN's running shit now. Oh, okay. Fucking, I was supposed to ask you this when you were talking about Dana. What's all this thing I'm seeing about these no fans and there's no media allowed at the UFC fight night this weekend?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, we're not allowed to go.
When did you first hear about it?
I heard a rumor about it on Monday, and then I got confirmation from the UFC on Tuesday. So by
email, you get your credentials fucking rejected again.
They send out.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I work for?
I'd never do that.
Connor, shall we hear about this, Mr. White?
No, but they send out an email. They send out an email with the schedule, and at the top of it, it was like, "This is a closed event."
Why?
So I kind of knew, and then over the last few days, like.
But why though? Why?
Well. But basically, I mean, it's out there now. Like Mackenzie Dern even said it at the media day. It sounds like Mark Zuckerberg has rented the Ep.6.
Whoa!
No one knows yet, including people like Ariel Helwani spoke about this on his show earlier. Mackenzie said this at media day. No one seems to know really if it's like, are they doing something with the metaverse? Is it like a test run? Are they working on something? Is there a deal being done? Or if it's just Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want to be around us peasants. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
How are you today?
Who's this speaking?
Derek from your mechanic.
Oh, yeah. What's up? Well, if the door handle's hanging off the door, I reckon it might need to be replaced though. I don't know how much diagnosis needs to be done. Why would you call me to say that you need a diagnosis and then not have the price for that diagnosis?
I don't know, mate.
So anyway, yeah, so I was cooking eggs in my boxes for breakfast and I was just there and then the door flew open. I looked and it was a big geezer with his gun in his hand. And I was like, ah! And he said, do you live here? And I said, I think so. And he said, are you sure? And I was like looking around at my furniture and I was like, yeah. Because I've heard there's a squatter in here. And I was like, I'd have to be a pretty dedicated squatter. And then he literally like pulled a piece of paper out, went outside, looked at my door number and went, I'm so sorry, I meant to be upstairs. And then I was like, you have your fucking gun out, mate. And he was like, oh, my bad, bro. And tried to shake my hand. And
wow. What the hell? So is he a cop?
Yeah. Security. But still, had to get my door repaired.
Another one, another handle fucking.
Yeah.
So Floyd had another fantastic exhibition. Another KO in his notch.
Yeah.
And
great,
now,
wasn't it?
And now he's fighting KSI's brother, Deji.
Yeah, saw that. I mean, the thing about Floyd is like, he's so unapologetic about it. It's like, how can you really get mad? He's telling you what it is, then goes and does what it is. So it's like, whatever. The one thing I'll say is, he's obviously training for these guys. He's obviously just showing up and having a little exhibition. But the guy he fought, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, I apologize, landed a decent left straight, right? Now, obviously, it didn't do much. It knocked Floyd back. Floyd knocked him out. But eventually, if he keeps doing this for like another 5 years, eventually his chin will just give out and someone younger will hit him hard. And I wonder if he'll ever, fuck up. If he'll ever over-exaggerate.
I feel like Floyd can do this because he's already 50-0. And two, I don't think Floyd would ever stop training.
Can you imagine him going and working out and
I'm just saying he's like GSP. GSP trains every day. Even though GSP is never going to fight again. I just saw GSP trains every day.
No, of course. GSP is like fucking Mr. like Buddhist monk, but Floyd, I don't think so. I don't think.
No, I mean, like, train, not like in camp, But like guys like that, they love like, just shadow boxing. They love hitting pads. And you know what I mean? They've been doing this shit. I'm telling you, Floyd, because 1, 2, you can also tell because Floyd travels the world and does whatever the fuck he wants. But whenever you see him, he still has a 6-pack. He doesn't look retired. You know what I mean? You can tell there's some fighters that just flip off the off switch and be like, fuck it, I'm done. Here comes the gut. I mean, look at me. Look at
that. You won that belt, you put it away and you gave up.
Okay, we'll do 1 each.
Go on. You read them out.
Fuck it out. Okay. If David had to fight Izzy, how would he beat him?
You asking me that?
No, I'm asking myself that. I've actually never thought about it. So, like, why would I even think about this?
He says, while thinking about it every night, he goes to bed.
I know my role. Like, okay, Izzy and I play fight sometimes. And sometimes I am able to, if I'm in like decent shape where I don't gas out after like 4 seconds, I could, survive the onslaught and sort of overpower him. But like after a minute, I'm fucking.
Big word.
No. I usually like this is him just playing around. This is him not fucking trying to like fuck me up. I'll, do my little thing, overpower him, and then start huffing and puffing away. You know what I mean? And then he's like, just chilling. But so one thing about Izzy in his training, so he stopped doing strength and conditioning actively, like during his camps. I think maybe a year or 2 ago. I don't know. I don't think he liked how he felt, maybe having to put that much load on his body during a full training camp. But like recently, especially in this camp, it's something that he's been doing actively, strength and conditioning. Even when we just like, just play around and grab each other for a few seconds, I can like, the grip strength, the strength of his frame and his posture. I can feel how much stronger he is. And like, the last few times he's grabbed me and we've tussled a bit. I don't even attempt to even do anything. I already feel powerless, like, just him just fucking grabbing me. But yeah, if I had to fight Izzy, like, I don't have speed. The one thing I've got maybe is power, but power you have to land. I'm not landing shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
how much more would you weigh than Izzy? Or
Izzy right now is 97. Right now, I would be. Okay, right now I'm 33 kilos heavier, I would say. So like 70 odd pounds.
Right there, mate.
70 odd pounds.
Bum rush him. Hold on.
Bum rush him. No, like, yeah. Just, if I had to fight Izzy, I would take the punishment and sue, and I would win in court. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that is the only way to secure a victory. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll find one for you. Why is Dana White never challenged in press conferences?
Mate, it's pretty apparent, really, isn't it? It's because, well, first of all, those press conferences are not like a normal human interaction. Like you're talking to someone with a microphone with a room of like 30 plus, some at pay-per-views 50 plus people staring at you, right? So it's not like a particularly natural thing to do. And then so it's all well and good if you go, here's one thing, they answer, you answer, they answer, right? That's okay. But even take Dana out of the equation. If any fighter, if you say something to them and they go, no, what do you mean? Immediately, the temperature in the room goes up by like 5 degrees and it just gets a bit tense and a bit fucking weird. So there are some things that unless you feel very passionate about, or more importantly, that you're 100% sure about, like if you know what, like, for like, I know this to be true 100%, not like I've seen some stuff and
when was your last moment of that situation where you're in there, you're asking something and you've raised the temperature?
Well, I mean, there was a nice little streak there where I had Dana fuming, not at me, but like I asked him about De La Hoya and he brought out documents. Bob Arum, I got him freaking out about. Like I had
the documents.
I had like a nice little run there, but I've learned, like, how to talk to Dana, I think. So I don't really get those anymore. But like I've been like when at UFC Long Island, people started asking him loads of Jake Paul questions. You can just see the guy dying, just like, oh, fuck off. And then it just gets a bit like, oh, socially awkward. So I don't know. The reason why he doesn't get challenged is either because people are a bit embarrassed, because Dana is the sort of guy that he will push it back on you and sort of make you stumble and freak out, and then you look like a fucking twat. So I think there's a bit of that. And I think it's just people just want an easy life, you know? I don't know. It's like, it's also like what, like, I don't know. This is a bit of a convoluted topic really, but it's like, what are you challenging him about? Like, so for example, let's say yesterday at the press conference, he wouldn't say this Saturday was anything to do with Zuckerberg. He just kept being like, oh, we just want to give the media a night off, right? We all have heard about this Zuckerberg thing, but you don't know for sure, so you can't challenge him. And also, why would you? But if it came out like, oh, this Saturday we're not having fans there because we don't want to pay the fighters and we don't want families to see, then you would have to challenge him about that. Do you know what I mean? There's like certain topics that it's like, is this worth the fight? Is this worth like pissing everyone in the room off about, or is it worth actually fighting for? So I don't know. That was like a convoluted answer, but there you go.
Nah, it's always nice to hear the insight and about, like, you know, the behind the scenes of what goes on in these media rooms.
I have to go get changed for wrestling, which I don't want to do.
For wrestling. A little Hamzat in the making there, eh?
No, definitely not. More like a bitter, crushed up old fucking man, dude. It's horrible.
Oh, fucking 46 years old of you.
No,
So
31.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dave Blakamoto, your uncrowned 145-pound champion. And we have Oscar Hamzat Willis Chimaev, who is off to wrestling training. Wait, what is that sign behind you? It says Oscar's what? Oscar's Pub. Oh, is that a door like leading outside or something?
No, that's where I keep him.
Keep who?
That's the laundry.
That's the laundry.
If you really wanted to know.